I do realize that this could come as an awful shock, but Dick Berggren, Bruce Cohen, and I were in a bar room. And it was 34 years ago, this fall, and we were flat broke. Our problem was that we needed some money for our dirt modified, so what we decided to do in desperation was to form a company and promote a race. The company became Inc. Incorporated, and the race became the Spring Sizzler. That winter, we really leaned on the media to help us out, and they came through for us, making noise all winter long about our forthcoming event. And all I can say is thank God they did, and thank God that it didn't rain, because if it had, we'd still be washing dishes. Several years ago, though, Al Feeney suggested that it might be a neat thing to have at this Hall of Fame an award for media people. And so, out of gratitude, we eagerly said that we'd like to get behind it. Recipients to date have included Val LeSueur, who has done 2,388 consecutive issues of the New England Racing Bible Speedway scene. Other recipients have been Charlie Mitchell, Lou Modestino, and Sam Weisberg. To understand fully how much of a contribution some of these journalists have made, consider today's recipients of the Near Media Award. Walt Renner had already been covering races for over 30 years before the Spring Sizzler ever popped out of the bubbles of the beer glass. A machinist by trade, Walt began writing for Chris Economaki's National Speed Sport News in the 40s. He began in the open wheel era and wrote right through the hard tops to today's modifieds. His regular beat included Riverside Park, Candlelight Stadium, West Springfield, but he and his bride, Ronnie, followed the exhaust circuit far and wide. He has probably covered more near Hall of Famers than anybody. Johnny Thompson right up to today's Bob Potter. And his very recent work includes just a fascinating history on the colorful goings-on at the old Rhythm Inn Speedway in Millers Falls. It takes a lot more than great throttle jockeys to bring a racing community like this together. Here's to all those journalists who, long after we rolled into our couches at night, were banging away on the old typewriters, preserving racing's precious moments. So, how about a real special hand of gratitude and respect for Walt Renner as we present him this year's Inc. Incorporated Jack Ratta Media Award.
I want to thank Lew Boyd for that gracious introduction, and I also want to thank the selection committee for nominating me for the induction into the New England Auto Racing Hall of Fame. I am honored to join fellow media division inductees such as Val LeSueur, Sam Weisberg, Lou Modestino, and Charlie Mitchell. I also owe thanks to Chris Economaki for allowing me to become a writer and representative of National Speed Sport News, his weekly newspaper devoted exclusively to auto racing. One other special person on my list of giving thanks to for getting me and working hard to get me into this Hall of Fame. And that was my wife, Ronnie, who was with me for a good many years. Last August, we celebrated our 62nd anniversary. And for the past 62 and a half years, she has been my best friend and the love of my life. Back in September of 1949, After having enjoyed an afternoon of big car racing at Eastern States Exposition Fairgrounds half-mile dirt track, I met Chrissy Conamaki for the first time. For a long time, Chris had been announcing races for Sam Nunes, promoter of AAA sanctioned races at many fair dates along the eastern part of the country. I still vividly recall Chris's spectacular style of calling the feature race that afternoon. With Tommy Hinnershitz leading by half a straightaway, Chris had the packed grandstand on her feet as he called the duel for second between Bill Schindler, Buster Warkey, and Eddie Gallione. Wow, was he good. I think more people left that race knowing that Bill Schindler finished second than who won. After the races were over, I introduced myself to Chris, telling him I was a subscriber of it and loved the paper, his paper coverage of throughout the country, but wished there was more New England racing coverage. He replied that he was looking for a writer to cover the territory and asked if I knew anyone. I quickly replied that I was a long-time midget fan and season ticket holder at Century Stadium in West Springfield and would be interested in trying my hand at writing. Chris told me to send in a couple of race results and he would be in touch. I sent in 2 midget races from Century Stadium and a week later received a letter from Chris that said, "Welcome, you're on board." That letter also contained my first press card and also a little pamphlet telling me how he wanted the races to be reported with the 4 W's: who, what, when, and where. And to keep them short because he needed space for his advertising. That was the beginning of a warm friendship with Chris, his wife Tommy, daughters Trina and Corinne, and the employees at National Speed Sport News that I will cherish forever. For many years, my wife Ronnie, and I attended races, sold National Speed Sport newspapers, and wrote articles for the paper. Whatever track we visited, we were always treated with respect and courtesy until illness forced us to retire after the 2002 season. It's a long ride that earned us many friends and fond memories. It was indeed a privilege and an honor for both of us to have held National Speed Sport News press cards. Finally, I want to thank the officers, both past and present, and the near membership for organizing and promoting this and the many other introduction banquets that have brought great honor to the inductees. Their efforts add to the greatness of our sport. Thanks everyone once again for this honor. It means a great deal to me and my family.